It's a Wednesday. They call it Hump Day in some circles. It's also Darkness Radio and Supernatural News and a Parashare. I'm your host, Tim Dennis. Right over there is the co-hostess with the mostest, Mallie Fox. How you doing, Mallie?
I'm good. How are you?
Good. I take it Father's Day was Father's Day. Is that the day we just had? We just had Father's Day, didn't we?
Yes.
I am so lost. Forgive me, folks. I'm a little out of it. I took Monday off. Thank you, everybody, for the prayers and the healing and the good energy you sent out to my mother. I appreciate it. She's just fine, by the way. Everything went well with the pacemaker surgery. We'll get that out of the way here. And she thanks you as well. She wanted to thank everybody for all the prayers and the good energy and everything. It was same-day surgery. Everything went well. She's got so much energy now. She's hitting home runs out of target field for the Twins. So there you go. So everything went well there, Mal. So
Good.
Yeah, everything's good there. Big show today, Mallie. The word small, hairy aliens come to mind.
Ah.
Yeah. I didn't know I had relatives. So there you go. That were in outer space. So we'll talk about that today. We've got Vampire Bigfoot.
Okay.
That's a thing.
Mm-hmm. It's a combination I've never heard of.
Right.
Well, nor the small, hairy alien either. I haven't heard of that.
We've got different combo platters for you today as well. Well, we've got our usual AI and ghost stories as well today, and then we're also going to attack past lives as well today.
Okay.
Yeah, past lives are coming up in the news, and we've got a little bit of a psychic corner today. There's a Nostradamus out of India. He's calling himself the Indian Nostradamus. He claims we are on the verge of World War III, and it's going to happen within the next few days.
Great.
Yeah, so we'll find out about that as well today. We are chock-a-block full of stories today, so we're going to jump right into it today. No Parashare today because we have that many stories. So we'll get back on the Parashare thing next week. By the way, get your stories in. Tim@darknessradio.com. You can go to the website, darknessradioshow.com, click on that blue button, leave your voice note. You've got 2 minutes to do so, or produce your own at home. If you have your own audio software, go nuts. Produce your own theater of the mind. Send it in to us. We'll air it here on the show. You can send it to tim@darknessradio.com. Here's the first story, Mallie. Small, hairy aliens used mind control on officials to avoid a UFO crash site recovery. Sounds too good to be true? Mm-hmm. It probably is. No, I'm just kidding. According to the newly released document citing a story published in 1999, small gray aliens living somewhere in the Nordic region used mind control to hide a UFO crash site. I love stories like this. I'm just saying. I get the biggest kick out of them. My skeptic little brain just jumps up and down with glee and says, "Oh, come on now."
Now, this is from, did you say 2009 or 1999?
1999.
Oh, and it's just coming out?
It's just coming out now. It's what's wonderful about some of these files that are being dug up, from the recent Arrow meetings, are that some of this stuff has kind of come to the surface, and we get some of these neat little files that people get to find out about. I'll tell you the story here because it is quite interesting. A group of small, hairy, gray aliens once appeared on Earth, according to this story, and controlled the minds of covert American officials to stop them from recovering a UFO crash site. The bombshell claims come from now released emails from former CIA scientist Hal Puthoff and ex-CIA Life Sciences Division analyst Kit Green. They were published in a UFO magazine in 1999 under the pseudonym Greg Halifax, where he recalled the story of someone called Sedge Masters, who was part of a team trying to retrieve a crashed UFO or UAP. The man called Sedge claims it was the blackest of American covert operations and involved several members of the intelligence community, but they had all been vetted relating to their psychological profiles. Each site, ranging from New Mexico to Denmark and even Midwest in the United States, was given a name based on a zodiacal star sign, But the one most concerning the community was called Zodiac and revolved around the Nordic regions. A new report into the emails and story claims that aliens were there and were described as small, gray, and hairy. Again, much like the Dennis family reunion. That's pretty much everybody who attends. Locations of recoveries listed included New Mexico, off the coast of Denmark, and the Midwest. In the story, an unnamed colonel tells a psychologist that during one crash recovery, a larger UAP ship appeared above the crash site and telepathically told the recovery team not to recover the craft. Interesting stuff, right? Okay. The team then experienced 90 minutes of missing time and were not able to share that information with staff at the West Point Air Force Base until they were telepathically released and able to do so. The psychologist states, the little gray bastards have thought control and empathy projection. Interesting. No other emotions of the encounter were made public, but the document posted this week on Reddit claims that the WPAFB, or the CIA, also has more than 2 million accounts of UAP or UFO sightings by military personnel and U.S. civilians, which were never investigated. That's a lot. So, Mallie, when we look at your bullshit meter, how high does it go on this story?
It's going more towards bullshit.
Is it? Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it's not the first time that you've heard about people losing track of time.
Sure.
So, but I don't know.
It's a little fantastical. I figured we'd lead off with a little something to, a little punch today.
Okay.
A little something with a little punch to start us off today, and then we'll get a little more believable as we move on here.
All right.
Right? Our second story today has to do with a mysterious hole on Mars that could lead to a labyrinth of underground caves. Now, this is a little more... It's still fantastical, but...
Right. But a little bit more believable, though.
Sure. Could happen. Might not, but could happen. Scientists have suggested that subterranean lava tubes on Mars could be home to primitive alien life forms. This is where we go off the rails a little bit, right? Exploring.
Is it kind of like the tubes that are down in the sea? How they have like those things that come out, those sea creatures? Like those kind of tubes?
Could be. You never know. Mars has been long dead for quite some time. So,
like my soul.
I'll give you one of those. Like my soul. Oh. There's part of me that cries for you, my friend, and part of me that giggles like a small school child.
Can I tell you real quick?
Sure.
So my family my dad, after 30-something years, decided to have family pictures.
Yep.
We never have professional family pictures. It's been a long time since Olin Mills or Sears or whatever, right?
Yeah.
So we all went to New York last week, and my dad, like 2 days before we were to leave, I've hired a professional photographer. We're all going to do family photos, blah, blah, blah. Can I just say my little entity, my little group, wore all black. Everybody else wore like pastel, flowery dresses, you name it. And then it was like us, black.
You're happy. Aw. It's the cutest thing ever.
We stuck out.
You just tell them it just makes it easier for editing when you go to do it later.
Yeah. Oh, but yeah, everyone was like, beautiful colors, summery. And then we're like,
Black.
black.
Although, I gotta, I side with you on this deal. For Father's Day, we went out for brunch. Oh, you know what? I did get other happier news for Father's Day.
Oh, that's good.
My dad's cancer is in remission.
Oh, that's wonderful.
Yeah. But speaking of black, I wore black to Father's Day brunch. So I can relate. That's where I was going to go with this.
Yeah.
and speaking of the pastel thing, everybody else was in pastels. That's what reminded me. So,
yep. Whole family, all their kids, they were like all matchy match, and then there was us.
my nephew was wearing pastels. He looked like something out of a J. Crew catalog. Mm-hmm. Actually, I think he got his outfit from American Eagle, if I remember. Okay. Right?
Yep.
The old man shows up. He looks like something out of a J. Crew catalog. Mm-hmm. And everyone's wearing salmon color. What's with the salmon color stuff now? Right?
Yeah, no, there was a lot of people. I went to 70th wedding anniversary this weekend, and everyone was wearing the salmon color because I thought I didn't get the memo. Well, once again, I wore black. But one of the rare ones that wore black again. But yeah, I thought that there was it was their party color or something because everyone was wearing that color, like a salmon or a pinky kind of orangey color. And I didn't get that memo.
No, I wore what do you call the fabric? It's not. God, I want to say mesh, and that's not it. It's that
linen.
Linen. Thank you. Yes, I wore a black linen hooded top and black linen shorts.
Okay.
Yeah. So I mean, it was casual. It was like it would be like sailing or beach casual. I don't know what it would be. Yeah,
breathable.
Breathable. Right. It'd be like or club casual. Yes. It'd be like
there we go.
Beach club casual. Yes.
Did you wear a sweater around your shoulders?
I could, yes. Muffy,
I'll just call you Biff.
Muffy, Tad, and I went to the club.
Yeah.
Yes. I had my penny loafers on as well. Mm-hmm. Boy, penny loafers, those haven't been in style in 40 years.
Yeah, but those boat loafers are coming back, though.
That's true, yeah. Mm-hmm. Well, I could be back in fashion in another year or two. That's for sure. Oh boy. Okay, we were on the story.
Sorry, I went on a tangent. Okay.
The mysterious hole in Mars having to do with, I don't know what that had to do with underground caves, but hey, it was a good tangent. Salmon color. That's right. Mars is salmon color, right?
Yeah.
Kind of.
Sure.
Red planet.
It's reddish.
Close
reddish,
enough.
brownish.
Yeah, exactly. Mysterious hole on Mars could lead to a labyrinth of underground caves. Scientists have suggested that subterranean lava tubes on Mars could be home to primitive alien life forms. Exploring the depths of an undocumented cave system could be a daunting prospect at the best of times, but imagine being one of the first people to venture deep onto a labyrinth of caverns stretching for countless miles beneath the surface of another planet. Scientists have long suspected that Mars is home to a network of dormant subterranean lava tubes that could provide a safe haven for primitive alien life, as well as a potential place to build a human base or colony in the not-too-distant future. Recently, the University of Arizona highlighted one particular image captured back in 2022 by the high-rise camera aboard the Mars Reconnaissance Orbiter. It shows an ominous-looking hole on the Martian surface. That's known as...
That's what we're calling it nowadays.
That's what we're calling it. Measuring around 150 feet in diameter. That's a big hole, if you know what I mean. It is believed that this opening leads down into a lava tube that might itself be linked to a vast subterranean network of such tunnels, a place ripe for exploration, Mallie.
Oh.
Yeah. Just spread that hole wide open and let's get to it. Hi-oh. It's difficult, however, to know exactly how far down that hole goes. About as far as the scope will take you. That's what I'm saying. There's more than one of these pits on Mars that we've seen, geophysicist Brandon Johnson told Business Insider. But they're interesting because they're places where astronauts might be able to go and be safe from radiation. That's one of the highlights of these giant holes. They're also a good place to look for evidence of alien life, he also added. So there you go. Giant holes in Mars. Meanwhile, we go to the Nevada desert near Las Vegas, where one of these mysterious monoliths has popped up. Have you seen these things before, Mal? These giant monoliths that just look like a giant
pillar? Were we talking about that not too long ago?
Yeah, a few months back.
Yeah.
Yeah. They just kind of
This is a different one?
Yeah, it's a brand new one, just out of nowhere in the middle of the desert. And it's kind of big, shiny, and I don't know who takes the time to put these things in the middle of the desert.
Right.
Yeah. This one looks almost transparent. Like when you look at it, it's reflecting the rest of the desert around. It's like mirrored, right? Mm-hmm. The long-running enigma of the mystery monoliths has entered a new chapter this week. Spotted by the Las Vegas Police Department during a recent search and rescue mission, the monolith is situated in a hiking area around 20 miles north of the city. According to the department, on a Facebook post, they say, quote, "We see a lot of weird things when people go hiking, like not being prepared for the weather and not bringing enough water. But check this out. Over the weekend, Las Vegas Metro Search and Rescue spotted this mysterious monolith near Gas Peak, north of the valley. How did it get up there?" The object itself is a tall rectangular prism with a highly reflective mirror-like surface. Its appearance follows on from the discovery of several other monoliths in locations around the world, including one that showed up in Wales earlier this year and another that was found in Utah in 2020. Others have shown up in California, Romania, and the UK's Isle of Wight. The objects have been likened to the mysterious monoliths of Arthur C. Clarke's iconic science fiction novel 2001: A Space Odyssey and director Stanley Kubrick's movie adaptation. Questions still remain concerning the purpose of the structures and who's behind them. Could they be an art installation of some kind, or is there some other significance to them? Well, is it the same person who's putting them up everywhere, or are several different people responsible? Of course, the search for answers continues on this. They're kind of odd in that they just are in the middle of nowhere. Although, when you look at the picture of this, Mal, the second picture that's on the right here, it looks like there's an obvious road or trail that leads up to where this is installed. Mm-hmm. So
I wonder if the sun hits it a certain way, could like blind you.
I bet it could. It's really reflective. Like you see everything that's happening around it. So I got to think when the sun hits that a certain way. You know, you bring up an interesting point here too. If the sun hits it a certain way, does it point to something almost like a treasure? Oh. You know, like it points out the way to finding a lost treasure.
Okay, that might be kind of cool.
That would, wouldn't it? Mm-hmm. Or it points out the way to something that we're supposed to be finding. I'm not sure. I don't know. It's odd. I don't know. It's I don't know why someone would be so vague about something, but I don't know. The world may never know. It's like Tootsie Pops.
One person has the answer.
That's right, and they ain't talking. That's for sure. All right, another one for your bullshit meter here, Mallie.
Okie doke.
I don't know why I'm so sweary today, but I am. I just have it in me. A British woman claims she swapped souls with an alien amid her near-death hospital experience.
Okay, that is almost to the whole bullshit thing.
Right?
Yeah, my little arrow is like right on the edge of it.
Well, let's give this one a go and see what we think. A British woman claims she swapped souls with an alien during a near-death experience in the hospital as a child.
Because I didn't know aliens had souls, really.
They do. Okay, so I'm not going to say the name of the person, but there's a person that you and I have both dealt with who's a psychic. Okay. Who, when they had their groups in their home, they'd have meetup groups.
I know who you're talking about.
Okay. When they had meetup groups, and they would do past life regressions and things like that, they used to bring past alien lives through. This is when I started to get a little skeptical.
Gotcha.
I don't ever believe I had a past alien life, and I was told I never have had one. But there were people in this group that claimed they did have alien lives and felt comfortable with the fact that they had past alien lives.
Oh.
It never resonated with me.
Right.
So before I go further with the story, does that resonate with you?
What, her talking about past lives of aliens, or what?
That, or do you ever feel like you could have had a past life as an alien or
No.
on an alien world?
Nope. Never crossed my mind.
Okay. All right. And I'll throw that question out here for Parashare. If you feel like you've had a past life on an alien world or as an alien, I want you to write in and tell me about your experience. Now, I'm not crapping all over it here.
Right.
But I want you to describe it for me, because I really am very curious. I want to know if you remember that life, and describe it for me and tell me what it is that you see, or what you've gone through, or maybe you've had a past life regression where you actually got to see this. Because I'm very curious. I want to know about it. Because I know of the ones that they described in the group, and actually a few people in the group claim they knew each other on these different alien worlds. And I was, at the time, I was kind of like, what? Come on. But you have to sometimes push past your skepticism to figure out what it is that they're going through, right? And because I've never had that, or it doesn't resonate with me, doesn't mean that it hasn't happened, right? So. Right.
Well, only until I'd say like the last 10 years, I really thought about aliens and that they do exist. So, I mean, it's just never been on my radar until lately.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So this British woman claims she swapped souls with an alien during a near-death experience in the hospital as a child. 42-year-old business consultant Kelly Tyler from, I believe it is Surbiton, London, claims she is a starseed, or souls who have lived previous, usually extraterrestrial, lives and reincarnates in human form. So that's what a starseed is. She described on This Morning that the soul swap happened when she was extremely ill with the whooping cough as an 8-year-old. I lost all my weight. This is a quote from her. Doctors said she's not going to make it. And at that time, myself and this being exchanged souls. This is what is called a walk-in, she said. And we're familiar with walk-ins here on the show. Here's the other quote. This is what happened, and now I am a starseed, but I wasn't born one like typically most people are. Kelly said that there are too many stigmas attached to the word alien, so she preferred to call her soul a starseed. Kelly added, there is a fear against aliens, and typically starseeds are here to help humanity. When we reincarnate as humans, we are here to remember what it is like to be human, connect to their natural senses rather than distract. Our role is not to make you look outside of humanity. It's to help you connect back to who you really were, with nature, with animals, and with ourselves. Most starseeds incarnate at birth, so their soul is born as a starseed. But when I was a child, I wasn't born as a starseed. Kelly explained to Ben Shepard and Kat Deely that her soul has gone to Arcturus, which is the brightest star in the northern constellation. She said she discovered where she was from by astral traveling, an intentional out-of-body experience that assumes the existence of a subtle body through which consciousness can function separately from the physical body. She went on to say, I look back at my life, it's like looking at my life in photos. I don't have an emotional connection of being there. I have no emotional memory of being pre-8 years old, she said. Okay, I'm going to stop right here. I only have maybe 10 memories between the ages of maybe 5 and 7. Okay. And between the ages of 7 and 8, I've got maybe another 10 to 15. I can't imagine you have a whole lot of memories between the ages of 5 and 8.
I wouldn't think so.
No.
I can't even remember what I had for lunch yesterday.
Yeah. So, I mean, in all fairness, I can't imagine you have a whole lot of memory from that period between birth and 8. So, I
remember going down the birth canal.
Yeah.
The bright light.
Who was it who claimed that they... Oh. I was watching a video from Terrence Howard. Somebody was shooting down everything that Terrence Howard said about creating...
The actor guy?
Yeah.
Okay.
He claims he's a genius. And that he's created a new system of math, and he's created all this other stuff, and that he's going to create a new galaxy and all this other stuff. He's got all these weird theories. And there's like a 10-minute video out there shooting down everything he's ever done.
Mm-hmm. Poor guy.
I know, but it's based on science, and
right.
it just says, pardon my language. Again, I don't know why I'm swearing so much today, but it just,
you're feisty.
I'm feisty today. That's right. I'm feisty today, Mel. I'm full of piss and vinegar. Just basically saying how full of shit Terrence Howard is.
Okay.
Yeah, but why did I go to that again? I don't know.
Does he remember being born?
Yes, he said he remembers going down the. Actually, he could prove it. He could prove remember being born because he used to read and do math problems to his son when his son was in the womb, and the fact that his son could count to like 10 when he was, I don't know, some outrageous age, like 6 months or a year or something like that. I don't remember what it was. It was kind of BS. But, yeah, I mean, he was lying so badly, his eyes were brown. If you know what I mean.
Oh.
Mm-hmm. Okay, back to the story. You can find the video on the internet, of course. You just look up Terrence Howard is full of shit and Google it. I'm sure it'll come up. Yeah, I don't know. Now I'm just making up search.
Poor guy.
Yeah, you'll find it. So this woman says that she has no emotional memory of being pre-8 years old. Kelly said she can visit other planets and is connected to Earth with a purple umbilical cord. Now, I've heard of being connected by a silver cord, but not a purple. Mm-hmm. She added, I was told to stop coming back here, another planet, because your duty is on Earth. Stop distracting and coming back when your mission is here. Kelly added that she sleeps with the curtains open to see the stars, which she calls my real home. So that's the story.
Okay.
So, now you've heard it, Mallie. Your bullshit meter registers what?
It's still towards the bullshit.
Okay. All right. I don't know. I don't know what to think about. I don't know what to think about this, to be honest with you.
If she was telling me the story, I would just sit there and smile, and I would think that that's great for her if that's what she believes. Mm-hmm. Who am I to judge? Because I she could be right. Mm-hmm. Just because I didn't have the experience or know anyone personally that had the experience, that doesn't downplay hers. But I don't know. Yeah, it's just too weird for me.
I know of some people that firmly believe that they don't belong on this planet. They don't belong in a human body.
Okay.
That they truly feel alien. And I get it. Not saying that.
But the swapping out souls, though?
Yeah, like a walk-in type deal, a walk-in type situation. I can dig it. Put it that way. And I can see where something like that could potentially happen. But yeah, it would be far-fetched, and it's not an everyday occurrence. Don't get me wrong. Mm-hmm. It's not something that happens on the regular. But could it happen? Sure. Because I'm looking at it this way, and follow me here real quick, and then we're going to go to break here in just a moment. But travel across the galaxy has to happen somehow. Mm-hmm. I don't think it happens in a conventional means by, you put a rocket on the, or you don't have a rocket blast on the back of this ship and you travel physically between dimensions, right? Maybe it's more of a ethereal thing.
Okay.
Maybe it is done through the mind. It isn't done through a physical rocket. Mm-hmm. Maybe you do travel by me taking my consciousness and shooting across the galaxy. If that's the case, maybe I do travel across the galaxy and I end up somehow inhabiting your body, and I don't mean to, because I need a receiver to jump into, and if I do that, I don't mean to push your consciousness out when I end up landing on Earth from whatever planet I'm coming from, but I have to land somewhere. Mm-hmm. And if someone happens to be in a coma, like say on this Earth, and there's kind of an empty shell there at the time, and I need to land somewhere, well, I've got somewhere then, right? And I found a place to land. Or someone who's ill at the time, and I need to jump in and get done what I need to get done. Why you don't go back right away is beyond me. Why would you stay? Why would you choose to stay? Unless you can't figure out how to get back. You know, that's the other thing. I mean, if it's that easy to take off and land, why is it harder to pick up and go? You know, it should be just as easy. So I don't know. I don't think we need to spend any more time on that. But that's it, and that's that. Okay, coming up next, the Turing test, Turing, has been passed for the first time. What's the Turing test? Well, let's just say the machines are now smarter than you, Mallie. We'll talk about that when we come back. We got some ghost stories coming up for you, including one particular story about how a ghost monk was caught on camera in a haunted pub. That's true. In heaven, there is no beer. You'll find out about it when we come back. We'll talk about the Indian Nostradamus, who says World War III is just days away. That's coming up after the break. And Vampire Bigfoot. It's not a band with Johnny Depp. It's an actual thing. We'll talk about it after the break. It's a Supernatural News Wednesday with Mallie Fox and Tim Dennis. We've got the best in paranormal podcasting coming up on a Wednesday in just a moment, right after the break, right here on Darkness Radio. Welcome back to the best in paranormal podcasting. This is Darkness Radio. It's a Supernatural News Wednesday. It's myself, Tim Dennis. Right over there is Mallie Fox. Mallie, I had a great weekend. I'm sure you had a great weekend as well. Like, I told you before the show, I had the best Father's Day surprise.
Yes.
I gotta tell everybody. So I have now not one but two new little baby chipmunks. I'm so happy. I'm so pleased. So let me tell you a little bit about. Just briefly. So I'm sitting on the porch on Saturday, right? And it was raining, and I'm reading Nicole Strickland's book, The Afterlife Chronicles, which Nicole will be with us tomorrow, right?
Very cool.
So I'm sitting on the porch. And I see this little thing moving in the grass as it's pouring rain, right? And I see this little zip, 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 zip moving through the grass. And I'm like, what in the heck is that? Because nothing is out, right? Because it's pouring rain. And I see this little fur ball right in front of me, jump right up in front of me, and look up and look me in the eyes and go, whoa, right? And it's just a little baby, tiny little baby chipmunk. And I was like, oh, look at you. And I was like, wait a minute, that's a baby chipmunk. That's not one of my little regular chippers, right? And I'm like, wait a minute, I have 3 boy chipmunks. Where the hell did you come from? So, lo and behold, I have a little baby chipper. So now, a little baby chipper with a snow white belly, right? Snow white belly, and I'm like, well, Snowball, right? So we named the little baby Snowball. So right before we started to tape today, I was outside and Snowball was running back and forth from the dish. And Snowball is really, really intelligent. I've only really seen Snowball twice, but Snowball's really friendly and looks you right in the eye and has a taste for peanuts, loves peanuts. And I was throwing peanuts to Snowball, and Snowball can only carry 1 peanut at a time. Pouch isn't very big. Just a little baby chipmunk. But was running peanuts back and forth to where Snowball was staying, right? Well, out comes another chipmunk, and I'm like, oh, that must be Logan. Oh, God, I hope they don't start fighting, because it's just a little baby, right? Snowball's just a little baby. And then I notice the other chipmunk isn't fighting with Snowball. And I'm like, wait a minute. That's not Logan. It's another little baby chipper and they're hanging out. Snowball has a little baby brother. I got 2 little baby chippers. And I was like, oh my gosh, that's the cutest thing. How perfect. I'm a little chipmunk daddy and I got little baby chippers for Father's Day. It's just the cutest little thing. I'm gonna cry tears of joy. And oh my God. Why is it, Mallie? In my moment of joy, AI has to come and ruin my day. Why?
Because it ruins everyone's day.
I'm telling you. It's like it knows. I was having such a good day, too. Well, evidently it's because AI has now become smarter than humans. The Turing test has been passed for the very first time, according to scientists. Developed by Alan Turing, the test can only be passed by an AI that is indistinguishable from a human being. So, congratulations, I guess. Back in 1950, Turing, the famed mathematician, computer scientist, and logician, not a magician, Mallie, but a logician.
A logician.
Right. Who is widely regarded to be the father of theoretical computer science, devised a test to answer the question of whether or not computers are capable of exhibiting genuine intelligence. The test itself was very simple, requiring a participant to communicate via textual message. That's textual message, boys. Textual message. With both a human and a machine without being told which of them is which. In order for the machine to pass the test, the participant would need to be unable to distinguish, after conversing with both of them, which of them was the human and which of them was the machine. Even though computers became increasingly sophisticated over the course of the 20th century, one of them were able to come close to convincing someone that they are in fact a real person. With the advent of modern artificial intelligence systems, however, it looks as the Turing test has finally found a winner. That is, at least according to a recent study. For the research, scientists asked 500 people to speak to 4 respondents, a human, an old 1960s era AI program called Eliza, and 2 versions of OpenAI's modern chat GPT. Each conversation lasted 5 minutes, and the participants had to work out which respondent was human and which was an AI. Incredibly, get this, Mal, 54% of participants believe that the latest iteration of ChatGPT was in fact human.
Oh, no.
Yeah, 54% were fooled. Eliza was limited to canned responses, which greatly limited its capabilities. AI researcher Nell Watson told Live Science, it might fool someone for 5 minutes, but soon the limitations would become clear. According to Nell, language models are endlessly flexible, able to synthesize responses to a broad range of topics, speak in particular languages or sociolects, and portray themselves with character-driven personality and values. It's an enormous step forward from something hand-programmed by a human being, no matter how cleverly and carefully. Well, unfortunately, 54% of people are currently confused as to what's an automaton and what's real. And that ain't good.
Nope, not at all.
Not at all. Meanwhile, if you think real rats are scary, try a robot rat. How do you do with rats, by the way? Are you scared?
Nope, I'm fine with them.
Okay.
Not a fan of their tail, but
Yeah.
it's kind of creepy looking, but I'm fine.
Turns out that some scientists thought that real rats weren't good enough, so they decided they were going to build a robot rat. In fact, one with an artificial brain, and it was unveiled as a professor praised its fantastic creation. I don't get this one at all.
No. It was probably like $1 million grant that he had to build this rat.
Yeah. Too much money is what it was. Robot rodents could be a step closer after After scientists with too much time on their hands created a virtual rat with an artificial brain that can move around just like a real one. The groundbreaking computerized creature was created to help discover how the brain controls movement. Brain boffins say the agility with which both humans and other species move is an evolutionary marvel that no robot has yet to be able to closely emulate. But Professor Bence Olveski of Harvard University, an expert in training real rats to learn complex behaviors in order to study their neural circuitry, says the fantastic creation of the virtual rodent is a new approach to studying how the brain controls movement. He led a group of researchers who teamed up with scientists at Google's DeepMind AI lab to build a biomechanically realistic digital model of a rat. Co-author Professor Matthew Botvinnik, Google DeepMind Senior Director of Research, hailed working with the Harvard scientists as a really exciting opportunity. He said, "We've learned a huge amount from the challenge of building embodied agents, AI systems that not only have to think intelligently, but also have to translate that thinking into physical action in a complex environment. It seems plausible that taking this same approach in a neuroscience context might be useful for providing insights in both behavior and brain function. Using high-resolution information recorded from real rats, they train an artificial neural network, the virtual rat's brain, to control the virtual body in a physics simulator called Mujoko, which is a great Disney movie if you've ever seen it. I'm telling you. Mujoko is where gravity and other forces are present. The team found that activations in the virtual control network accurately predicted neural activity measured from the brains of real rats producing the same behaviors. The researchers say a next step might be to give the virtual animal autonomy to solve tasks akin to those encountered by real rats. Professor Olveski said, "We want to start using the virtual rats to test these ideas and help advance our understanding of how real brains generate complex behavior." Interesting. I mean, we're one step closer to being able to, generate whole new bodies for ourselves.
I don't think I want to be a rat, though.
No. I'm not saying put our brains into rats. I'm just saying, whole new bodies for ourselves. Mm-hmm. Right?
As you were reading the story, I kept thinking of, what was that movie, Willard? Or something like that, where he was like the king of the rats?
Yes. Yeah.
Was it Crispin somebody?
Crispin Glover.
Yes.
Yeah. King of the Rats. Boy, that's going back a ways.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. That's for sure. All right, you ready for some ghost stories?
Yeah.
This one's kind of interesting. This one's a viral ghost story from this last week. A ghost supposedly set off, you'll like this one. I'm sure the hubby will too. Ghost allegedly sets off an ambulance siren in some viral footage. Yeah.
Are we sure it's not user error?
Right. That's what I thought. The minute I saw this, I thought, yeah, this is user error. A shadowy figure has been blamed for setting off the siren of a Red Cross ambulance in Costa Rica. The CCTV footage, which was filmed at the Auxiliary Committee of the Red Cross of Santa Rosa de Pacosal in Costa Rica's San Carlos district, recently went viral on social media. It shows the ambulance bay outside the building with two vehicles parked up there. Suddenly, the lights and siren on one of the vehicles starts to blare for no apparent reason, prompting a confused-looking worker to emerge from the building on the left to investigate. Just as he arrives at the door, a strange shadow can be seen moving away from the vehicle on the right-hand side before disappearing off the side of the frame. The clip has prompted speculation that some sort of ghost was responsible for setting off the siren. In truth, however, it's quite difficult to actually make out the shadow figure, and it is quite possible that the siren had come on due to some sort of electrical fault. Tell you what, the clip is included in the story, so I'm going to post the whole entire link in the description of this program, so you can watch the clip for yourself and you can judge. Like Mallie said, it might just be some sort of electrical failure or error. Mm-hmm. Our next ghost story is about a ghost monk who's caught on camera in a haunted pub, and now spirits have nowhere to hide, at least according to this story. Ghosts wandering the grounds of UK's most haunted properties will soon have nowhere to hide, at least according to this story. Cameras have been installed at spooky sites across the country and beyond in a bid to prove spirits exist once and for all. A team of paranormal investigators claim that they have already caught a sinister ghost monk. Somehow those words don't ring true with me. Sinister ghost monk.
Ghost monk.
Yeah, right. On camera, as well as a possessed Annabelle-style doll saying, "I want to burn your eyes out."
Okay.
Yeah, that one would get me. Now they're set on stalking the supernatural to analyze their haunting habits, with enthusiasts invited to come and stay overnight at their peril. It comes after the ghost hunters spent years trying to catch the phantom at Ye Olde King's Head in Chester, which is a 1622 brothel that was later converted into an inn. Oh, that sounds sound. Mm-hmm. The pub has since gained a reputation as one of the most haunted buildings in England, featured on shows like Most Haunted and Sky's Paranormal Captured. Dozens of TripAdvisor guests have also reported strange goings-on, including seeing light orbs during their stay. Oh my God, Mallie, not light orbs.
I haven't heard that in a long time, those words. Orbs.
Orbs, yeah. Yeah. The pub was purchased in 2012 by Harry Achilleos, who is a paranormal enthusiast, and was later converted into a full-time ghost hunting hotspot. It was renamed My Haunted Hotel.
Oh, boy.
That's original, yeah. Mm-hmm. With cameras rolling around the clock and a team of paranormal investigators on site to monitor any activity. That's not too invasive. They captured a chair moving in the brothel area and dolls shifting in the nursery after the hotel's owner previously said investigations have awakened something. In 2019, cameras finally caught a shadowy figure known as the Monk, who evaded investigators for more than a decade. He probably didn't want to be disturbed, is my guess, right? Footage appears to show the apparition turning before passing towards the window and disappearing into thin air. Fellow investigators Danny Moss and Brett Jones were drafted in to decipher just what or who had been taunting them. Since then, the trio have formed a formidable spirit-searching team with the launch of the My Haunted Project, incorporating My Haunted Manor USA in Pennsylvania, My Haunted Mansion at Woolton, Liverpool, and more recently, My Haunted Mill, Mallie.
Oh, boy.
In Chirk, North Wales, which opens on July 19th. Speaking exclusively to the Daily Star, Danny said there's nobody else in the world that is doing this type of paranormal project with real people having real experiences, all documented on camera. It's like the paranormal version of Big Brother. It kind of sounds a little annoying. How would you?
It does. And then it's like, if it's like a Disney World of My Haunted whatever, it kind of makes you think that a lot of the evidence won't be real because it's so focused on it being haunted that things could be faked. I don't know.
Well, it's invasive.
Yeah.
And don't you think it'd be a little over-farmed?
Yeah, you would think.
Because you're constantly looking for stuff. It's almost like you're trying too hard, right?
Right.
Yeah. The people who pay to come and stay at these locations are filmed from the minute they walk in, and we document their journey over their night stay. So we could also call it the My Not Getting Any Nookie Haunted Hotel, right?
Yep.
Boy, I know a lot of people aren't staying there. We captured everything from...
Are you saying paranormal people are sluts?
Maybe.
Are you talking from your own experience?
No.
There's a reason why your costume was a pimp all the time.
No, not me. No. It says here, we've captured everything from poltergeist. You behave. It says here, we captured everything from poltergeist activity to full-bodied apparitions. So we have tons and tons of evidence, which we share on our social media channels and on the My Haunted Project channel on YouTube. we acquire sites that have huge reputations for being haunted. But instead of just talking about the hauntings, this is an ongoing journey to document paranormal activity from every angle of the buildings that we can showcase to the world. Danny said the teams are on hand to monitor activity with their first job to debunk a lot of occurrences that can be explained. However, he recalled a time when guests fled in terror at the sound of disembodied footsteps running towards them at the hotel in Chester in a clip that went viral on TikTok. The group also hit the headlines for capturing the chilling moment a doll told them that it wanted to burn their eyes out. Okay, that one I got to see to believe. Danny said his career in paranormal investigation was propelled by his own experience at the age of 17, which sparked a bit of an obsession with ghosts. Now the team is on a mission to establish why paranormal activity happens in a bid to identify trends and whether any patterns can be attributed to weather systems or certain times and dates of the year. We're changing the game for paranormal investigation, Danny added. We're hoping to be able to prove the existence of these unexplainable events and maybe even one day be able to prove the existence of what you would deem to be hauntings. Okay, so I got to ask you this, Mel. So let's say this show were to run trips to one of these hotels. One of these all invasive, listen to me, all inclusive, not invasive, but one of these all inclusive hotels. Do you think you could sell out an event like that for investigators? Because to me, it does seem invasive. That's what I meant to say. Do you think people would want to go to a hotel like that, or is it too invasive? Does it?
I think people are always looking for a new place to investigate. I bet you could sell it out. Some people, it doesn't bother them. You know what I mean? With cameras everywhere. And I think you could sell it out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I wonder.
I think so.
I wonder.
I personally would not like it, but I think there's a lot of people out there that they're fine with it.
I'm curious.
Heck, maybe they're a little, not voyeurism, but they're like, ooh, all these people are watching me.
I got to think when you go into that hotel, though, that first they have to have you sign a waiver, some sort of waiver, because they're taping constantly. Second, I don't think that they can tape you in your room when you're sleeping or anything else, especially
the bathroom.
Or the bathroom, yeah. Right. So, I mean, there's got to be some privacy sometime. They have to shut down cameras between such a time and such a time. They can't tape you when you're dressing, obviously.
Right.
There's got to be some privacy at some time. So, I don't know. There's got to be some rules and regs in there somewhere. So.
Or we're going to find out a lot of people fart in their sleep.
That's right. That's right. There's got to be limits to privacy. I know they say they're the big brother of this thing, but there's got to be. I got to imagine they're opening themselves up somewhere, unless there's a hell of a waiver there. I don't know.
But they better do it soon, because didn't we do a story not too long ago where England said that their ghosts were starting to disappear?
Yes. Yeah. So we'll find out. Yeah. That's for sure. We're going to switch gears a little bit here. There's a new Nostradamus, and he isn't backing down. He's still predicting that World War III is just days from now. He dropped a bombshell. An Indian astrologer dubbed the new Nostradamus as predicting the start of World War III, and it's just mere days from now. As a matter of fact, if you're sitting down, and I know you are, Mallie, supposedly yesterday was the strongest planetary stimulus to trigger World War III. I'm listening for bombs. I don't hear any.
Nope.
No. Kushal Kumar told the Daily Star and was doubling down on a May prediction after Iranian President Abraham Raisi died in a helicopter crash. Now, on Thursday, Kumar rattled off a series of current disturbing events, justifying his claim in another post to Medium. Now, this is why he says the world is on the brink. First, Kumar cited a recent terror attack that targeted and killed 9 Hindu pilgrims in the Himalayas while injuring 33 others. Next, he referenced that shots were fired in the demilitarized zone between North and South Korea when troops from the north crossed into the DMZ on Sunday. Thirdly, Kumar cited that the conflict in Israel has escalated as Hezbollah forces in Lebanon recently barraged rockets at the Jewish state in retaliation for the death of a commander. Then he pointed out that in a maneuver uncomfortably reminiscent of the Cuban Missile Crisis, of course, Russia has been sending warships, including a nuclear submarine, to Havana. And to top it all off, China has been administering war drills off Taiwanese shores, worrying U.S. officials. Watching the developing war scenarios in hotspots across the globe as days passed by, Kumar wrote, of course, getting himself all worked up. Mm-hmm. He added that June 29th might also be Doomsday. The Nostradamus knockoff previously predicted June 10th, which came to pass. So he's made this prediction once already.
So he's just going to keep on going until it eventually happens.
I think so, yeah. It says here, even if World War III doesn't come to pass in a matter of days, state officials warn it is a serious concern. The North Atlantic Treaty Organization, or NATO, warned a few months ago that a war with Russia in the next 20 years may be inevitable. The Doomsday Clock, representation of how close the planet is to nuclear war, was also set at its closest to midnight, which is 90 seconds away, for a second year in a row. Now, I do want to offset this.
Okay.
In the world, at any particular time, there are between 216 and 251 armed conflicts in the globe at any particular time. We are a violent world.
Yes.
So take it for what it's worth. We're always fighting. We're a violent natured species. I don't know why now would be any different than 10 years ago. But I think because maybe there are more high profile conflicts now. Mm-hmm. That this guy is all whipped up, but and maybe more volatile leaders. Is that a good way of putting it?
Yeah, but I think history has shown that we've had violent leaders. You know what I mean?
Sure.
We just have better weapons now.
True.
Than wielding an axe and...
There's a second psychic out there. This one is a Russian psychic. So okay. I'm going to piggyback off this story with another psychic. This Russian psychic says the finale is right around the corner as a Putin pal says we can't be broken. The Kremlin mouthpiece says the country's power will only increase and it cannot be broken amid a series of psychic predictions she has made for the upcoming years. A Russian psychic has predicted a great disaster is coming and says Russia can't be broken. Kazheta, forgive me for the pronunciation here, it's Akhmethanova, took me a while to get that one down, who has predicted a series of tsunamis in the past, says the world will soon be surprised. The star of Battle of Psychics, which is a Russian TV show, predicts that soon many Europeans will move closer to Odessa, which the region is said to be decisive for the fate of the Russian invasion of Ukraine due to natural disaster. She believes Europeans will have no choice but to look for salvation in the area in the coming years due to flooding. Kazheta said the North Military District will force the whole world to respect Russia and its power will only increase. Everyone understands that it is better not to anger Russia, she said. The SVO will continue for now, although the finale is just around the corner, the psychic remarked, according to, I believe this is Moskovish Komsomolets, which is a Moscow-based newspaper. I'm sorry, I don't get it delivered to the house, so I don't know how to pronounce it correctly. Everyone understands this, both in Russia and in the West. Our country cannot be broken, she's quoted as saying. Look at history. No one has managed to do this before. Little thing called World War II.
I know. I was thinking Germany thought that they were indestructible.
Yeah, right. And no one will succeed in the future, she says. Although Western politicians will continue to pump Ukraine with weapons for some time, everything will still end in peace negotiations. I think she forgot about Afghanistan. Afghanistan broke the Russians. They weren't able to break Afghanistan. It is thanks to the negotiation process that a new global security architecture will emerge that will suit all parties. She says of natural disasters, she said natural disasters that will begin to occur in the next 3 to 4 years in Europe will leave no other choice. A great disaster is coming, a very terrible drought. It will be in many European countries, and people, in order to save themselves, will begin to look for new places to live. I see that many Europeans will move to Odessa. This city will continue to be a pearl by the sea, where many immigrants from Europe will live, and they will be very comfortable there. So she's saying that Russia will become the center of Europe. Interesting. So now I have a third psychic story today.
Okay.
You ready for this? The trifecta of psychic stories. This one is a little more entertaining. This psychic medium claims that spirits ruin her nights by ordering her to down her drinks, Mallie. Have you ever had this happen to you?
No. So she's blaming ghosts for her hangovers?
And her alcoholism, evidently. Yep. A psychic medium claims that persistent spirits hounded her on nights out and demanded her to go to different bars to deliver messages from beyond the grave to unsuspecting drinkers.
Oh, boy.
31-year-old Zara Fleming says relentless spooks used to dictate she down her drink and leave pubs so she could talk to the loved ones of departed souls. She persisted with it, even though at times it scares the punters. It means that Zara from Plymouth, Devon, often had to make excuses to pals about altering where they would hang out, explaining it away as having just changed her mind. The mother of two has now learned to tune out the visions of people's loved ones in angel form when she's not working. So she finally grew a backbone. But her services are in high demand as she's fully booked up for readings for the next 4 weeks. Only 4 weeks? I know psychics are booked up a lot further out than that.
Yep.
Zara, a business development manager in her day job, said, I would never tell my friends why I wanted to go to a particular bar. I would say, look, guys, I don't want to go here. Shall we go to this next place? Because I had this compulsion to go there. Once I got there, I realized why I bumped into someone, and I had something to tell them. It's been a mixed response when I've approached strangers. Sometimes they were taken aback, and sometimes it did scare people, but it's a very welcome response in the majority of cases. The mom first struggled with the compulsion of being lured to other bars in the first 6 months of her side hustle in 2019. She first tapped into her powers 2 weeks after her dad, Johnny Fleming, died from stomach cancer, and these intensified when her mom, Sheena Matthews, died in 2022. Zara continued, I see angels in my peripheral vision. Their features, smiles, what they're wearing, and what they smell like. Boy, I hope they showered. I'm just saying. One of the first things I actually got was the ability to feel pain from other people. If my children were getting sick, I'd know it because I'd feel it. Okay, that's a horrible power. When my little girl was teething, my teeth started hurting. I was like, why the hell are my teeth hurting? And it was because of that. I feel pain for the angels. I can see and feel how they died. That is horrible.
Yeah.
She says that's the scariest part, especially when it comes to suicide. If I'm reading someone and their loved ones committed suicide, I can physically feel how they killed themselves. Ow!
I don't think I'd be going out to bars.
No.
Stay home.
Once they show me how they've died, that tapers off, she says. Sheena, 62, was also a physical medium, her mother. Since her death following a heart attack, Sarah says her own powers have become stronger, as growing up, she was skeptical of her mother. My mom used to come out with a lot of obscurities. I always thought she was nuts. She suffered a heart attack, and when she came out of a coma, the first thing she said to me was, "How's your mediumship coming on?" It was when she said that I realized she did have the gift and she wasn't just crazy, Sarah said. Since she died, my gifts had become stronger. I've been more connected with spirits than I have been ever since my mom passed away. I can see and pick up what they're trying to tell me more clearly. I don't need to concentrate so much. It just flows. I spend time in care. My medium said that now that they've passed, they're parenting me like they should have when they were here. I took loads of comfort in that, and that they were keeping me safe. Despite seeking and chatting to dead people daily, Zara says she doesn't find it scary, but sometimes overwhelming. Zara says, I think people have that misconception that it would be scary, but it can be overwhelming, especially when I don't know how to turn it off. It sounds like she needs some training.
Mm-hmm.
It could be frustrating, especially if I was out with friends. Someone would walk past me and would know, and I would know I'd need to talk with them, but I wouldn't say I was scared. The majority of people who know me have been super supportive. My business started through word of mouth from reading friends. I feel really privileged that I have this gift and it can be used to help people. Everyone is entitled to their belief, but I wouldn't knock it until you've tried it at least once. Yeah, the whole feeling pain thing and not being able to turn it off, all this stuff tells me that she's, one, that she's new to it, and two, that she doesn't know how to control it. Mm-hmm. Yeah, and that she needs, well, you can tell she's relatively young when you look at her picture. She's...
Oh, yeah, she's very young.
Yeah.
I bet her friends are like, oh, boy. Like, she's not fun at a bar because she's going up to strangers and giving them readings and feeling their pain. And
yeah, that's for sure. That's for sure. Let's talk about past lives. We talked a little bit about alien past lives earlier in the program, but we're going to talk about children who remember their past lives right now. And the chilling phenomena of why thousands of toddlers are being haunted by memories that aren't theirs. There's an article in the Daily Mail this past week. And the article starts out with the line, "That is the field where I died." And a 5-year-old boy is telling this to his parents. He says, "I remember because the mud was so deep, it went over my gaiters." And he says this serenely while pointing across a former historic battlefield in southern England. Quite apart from the shock of their son claiming to have been reincarnated, his parents listened open-mouthed because he had no knowledge of history yet, and had referred to as gaiters, which is a protective leg covering worn by soldiers from 1700 until the end of the First World War. He's not alone. An American university has compiled a database of more than 2,200 children who have been haunted by a carryover of memories of past lives since the 1960s. Critics believe that these tales are inspired by other sources of information such as TV, the internet, family stories, or just figments of a child's active imagination. But 2/3 of those cases contained enough detail to identify the deceased person the child believes they may have been. And this according to a recent study by the University of Virginia School of Medicine. These children, generally aged between 2 and 6, either had the epiphany of having experienced deja vu when visiting a certain place, or it came to them in lucid dreams. The most famous case in Britain was toddler Cameron Macaulay, who's the star of the 2006 documentary Extraordinary People, The Boy Who Lived Before. From the age of 2, he had perfectly described his home on a beach in the outer Hebrides, I believe, including the death of his father in a car crash and his pet black and white sheepdog, despite never visiting the Scottish island, and nor had any of his Glaswegian family. "I have to go to Barra. I have to go to Barra. My family is missing me," he would tell his parents. He recalled swimming in rock pools and playing with friends on the beach where small planes would land. Cameron's visions of life there were so real to him that on occasion he would need to be collected from nursery as he was crying for his parents on Barra. Eventually, his family relented and visited and found a home on the beach that was there exactly as he described it. And there are more cases like that. In the Northeast, a father was shocked to hear his 2-year-old daughter talking about her other father who died a long time ago. The father told Daily Mail the assumption at the time was that she had an imaginary friend called Charles because she would often be appearing to talk to him or about him. In the end, we asked her more about Charles, and he said he was my other father who died a long time ago. Little by little, more details started to come out. She said he lived in a house with a black door and described an iron staircase that went upwards in circles. It was a bit creepy, but I was intrigued enough to look into whether the houses in our suburb were likely to have a spiral staircase and discovered it was a fairly common feature of some of the older properties. It was very strange and lasted only a few months. In time, she stopped talking about Charles, which I must admit was a relief. The family of a little girl on holiday in the UK claimed she had pointed out a pair of graves in a rural church and declared that was where she had buried his parents, even reeling off their names on the stones and the dates that they had died, as well as the epitaph. They were dearly loved and in God's arms. I used to come here when I was a boy, she said, and started to describe the inside of the church in great detail. Her parents told her she had a really good imagination, but found out that she was spot on with every single detail, according to one family friend. A fourth child, age 3, told his parents many times that he had drowned in a speedboat accident when he was a much older man. Focus on these tales has been reignited after an academic study in the U.S. raised the possibility that reincarnation could actually happen because hundreds of children have told them so. Spooky talk from youngsters aged between 2 and 6 who claim to have lived and died before should not be written off as nonsense. Hypnotist and past life expert Tony Ray has warned. Ray, who is chairman of the British Council of Professional Hypnotists for 25 years, was reacting to a study in the U.S. which has documented over 2,200 cases where children have inexplicably given detailed accounts of events that they could not possibly have known about. Each year, around 120 families with children with these vivid memories are contacting the Division of Perceptual Studies, or DOPS, within the Department of Psychiatry and Neurobehavioral Sciences at the University of Virginia School of Medicine. It has led the department's director and author on the subject, Dr. Jim Tucker, to conclude there's evidence here that needs to be accounted for, and when we look at these cases carefully, some sort of carryover of memories often makes the most sense. Mr. Ray said, I would say to the parents to keep an open mind if your children are saying inexplicable things and using strange language that you wouldn't expect them to know. The most common explanation that parents give for these behaviors is that their child has an imaginary friend because that's often the way these things present themselves. But I've had children brought to me by parents who have been utterly baffled, and that at the end of the day, having worked with these children, the conclusion he or she has lived before has been inescapable. In one instance, a 5-year-old boy who lived near the site of a historic battlefield in the south of England began making strange disclosures to his mom and dad. As they drove past the site, the boy, who was yet to study any history in school, told them, "That is the field where I died before." The mother and father put it down to play acting until the youngster continued, "I remember that place because the mud was so deep, it went over my gaiters." Mr. Ray said, understandably, they found it baffling that a lad of such a young age would use the language of that kind. It's a word that he couldn't have known, and they came to me in the hopes that they would find some sort of answers. The young man went on to make other disclosures about his past life in which he died in battle using detail that he couldn't have otherwise known, and my presumption at the end of the day was that it could very well have been a past life. Other parents have shared similar stories of their own children. One said on the Mumsnet forum My 3-year-old has told us many times that he died in a speedboat accident. He described what happened, that he fell in and sunk. He said that he was a much older man, and it was very sad. Pretty spooky. I didn't even know that he knew what a speedboat was. It only came about as we saw some boats in the river, and he started saying that he had been on a boat. I told him he hadn't been on a boat yet, and he said, yes, I have. That's how I died. Then he proceeded to go into detail about how it happened. Dying on speedboats certainly isn't a topic of conversation in our house, although obviously he may have heard it somewhere. For him to say he was a much older man than he is now is strange. Such instances is not unusual to Tony Ray. He said, I remember the case of a young girl who went to a village for the first time with her parents, not far from where they live. Her father was looking for the church, and she told him it's over the bridge and across the road from the smithy. Children stay in touch with their past lives if they've had them for a short amount of time until it is basically educated out of them. It's something that we should be investigating further, he went on to say. He says he was originally skeptical himself until an incident that changed his mind. Mr. Ray, described as the world's leading past life regressionist, said, I thought it was a lot of old tosh, for want of a better word, and like many others, I put these instances down to false memory syndrome. But a few years ago, I was staying in a hotel in Yorkshire, and there was an incident that changed my mind completely. The hotel manager told me his bar manager had become convinced that he had lived a previous life and wondered if I could help. I was skeptical, but I placed this chap in a relaxed state and took him back, and he began to tell me about his time as a soldier in the Crimean War. He said he was a lance corporal, and he rattled off his army number. He gave me the name of his commanding officer, his next of kin, and he said he had been living in Sudbury, Suffolk. It was interesting, but went away thinking nothing more of it. Months later, I got a call from the hotel manager who said he and his wife had visited the Imperial War Museum in London. Unknown to me, she had been taking notes while I'd been talking to the barman. They were still in shock. The service number had given corresponded with a soldier who had fought in the Crimean War in the same regiment as the one he had given. It was absolutely extraordinary, and from that day on, I lost my skepticism. Another baffling case is that of Cameron Macaulay, a young boy in Glasgow who, at that age of around 2, began talking about his memories in the remote Scottish island of Barra. The island was some 220 miles from the street where Cameron lived with his mother, Norma, and his elder brother, and they had never visited it. Still, Cameron says he recalled his Barra mother and dad, his Barra brothers and sisters, and his black and white Barra sheepdog. He remembered living near the beach in a white house owned by the Robertson family, close to where planes would land. Despite being reassured by his mother, Cameron was insistent that he had really lived this other life, and on occasion would need to be collected from nursery as he was crying for his parents on Barra. In desperation, Norma went to child psychologists and researchers into unexplained phenomena, but they were unable to help her. Eventually, she came across Dr. Tucker, the author of the U.S. Report and an afterlife expert and child psychiatrist at the University of Virginia. Norma and Cameron traveled with Dr. Tucker to Barra, where a local historian helped them track down a white bungalow on a beach where a Robertson family had lived in the 1960s and 70s. Further research found a family member who recalled that a black and white collie owned by a neighbor was frequently running around on the beach outside the family's home. Cameron's case is one of those entered in Tucker's database maintained by the Division of Perceptual Studies within the Department of Psychiatry and Neurobehavioral Sciences at the University of Virginia School of Medicine. Tucker says he wants his work and that of his predecessor, Ian Stevenson, to be destigmatized within the scientific community. He told the Washington Post, in many ways, I'm doing this to try and sort it out for myself. With each case, I come in with certainly an openness, but also, I think, a fairly critical eye. What is the level of evidence, and could it be explained in other ways? He said patterns had emerged in his work. The most pronounced and convincing case tended to occur in children between the ages of 2 and 6. The children would describe places they have been, people they have never met, and sometimes use words or phrases that seemed beyond their vocabulary. The youngster would often suffer nightmares and would talk a lot about what they were experiencing in their youngest years with past life recollections fading at the age of 7 or 8 years old. DOPS, who has operated since the 1960s, is being contacted by about 120 families per year, and each case is entered onto its database. His work has led the academic to question whether reincarnation in some form could be realistically happening. He told Virginia Magazine, "I understand the leap it takes to conclude there is something beyond what we can see and touch, but there is evidence here that needs to be accounted for. And when we look at these cases carefully, some sort of carryover of memories often makes the most sense." Kind of a longer story, but an interesting one at that.
Mm-hmm.
Do you ever feel, Mallie, that you've had past lives?
Once in a blue moon, if something seems like it's so familiar. But, yeah, I don't know. But I just saw a story recently about a girl that thought she was Anne Frank, and she went into great detail. And this was like many years ago, and went into great detail about things. And one of Anne's living relatives said he didn't believe in reincarnation, but after meeting this girl, he said if anybody could be reincarnated, it would be her. Really?
Interesting.
Yeah. It was, but she like described their hiding place, and like she was talking about how she had all these pictures on the wall, and when they took her there weren't any pictures, but they talked to a museum employee and they said, "Oh no, we just took those down because we're putting them in a protective covering and all this stuff." And I don't know.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Interesting. Interesting. Well, we go from reincarnation to a conspiracy theory. And that's this. You know, this week is 28 years after the funeral of Tupac Shakur.
Okay.
And there's still fans out there that are convinced that Tupac's still alive. Did you know that?
Yes, because my brother thinks that he is.
Really? Mm-hmm. Let me ask you, why is he convinced that Tupac is still alive?
A conspiracy. He thinks, I don't know. You'd have to meet AJ.
Okay.
He believes he's still alive.
A lot of people are convinced that Tupac faked his death simply to get out of the limelight because things had gotten too hot with him. Mm-hmm. There's a multitude of reasons. A lot of it had to do with the fact that he had worked himself into a corner with the authorities, with gangs, with different things. And a lot of it had to do with the fact that he got too hot too fast, and he just wanted a private life, that he was just a private person. Although if anything would have brought him out of retirement, quote unquote, it would have been the death of his mother.
Did she pass?
Yeah, she passed away.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Quite a few years ago. And
okay.
You think he would have come out of retirement for her funeral, or would have, or I say retirement, but hiding. He would have come out of hiding for that. And some people are convinced he has. Some people have videotape or have released videotape on the internet and on YouTube saying that they've caught him on video. And here's the video of him, and said, this is him. It's got to be him. And there are some very good lookalikes out there that look like him. Well, some Tupac fans remain convinced that the rapper did not die in a drive-by shooting in 1996, with the wild conspiracy theory still going strong on what would have been his 53rd birthday. Now, Tupac would have been 53 years old on June 16th, just a couple days ago. And by the way, it is Juneteenth today, so we recognize that today as well. And there are still some fans who are convinced that he is alive and well and blowing out candles somewhere in the world. Tupac was gunned down in a drive-by shooting in L.A. on September 7th of 1996 and died in a hospital 6 days later, with the rapper aged just 25 at that point. Only in September of last year did Las Vegas police arrest a suspect, that being Dwayne Keefe D. Davis. He pleaded not guilty, and his trial is scheduled for November of this year. Now, conspiracy theorists long claimed that Tupac is still alive, with some suggesting that he escaped to Cuba. And that's, if you're going to hide anywhere, Cuba would be it, right?
Right.
Others claim he found out about a plot to assassinate him and switched with a body double. Even Suge Knight, the founder of Death Row Records, who was with Tupac on the night he died, has played into that wild conspiracy. He stated in an interview in 2017, I mean, when I left that hospital, me and Pac was laughing and joking. I don't know how someone can go from doing well to doing bad. When asked if he genuinely thought Tupac could be alive, he added, with Pac, you never know. The ludicrous claims have been furthered by a number of supposed sightings as well as videos supporting to show Tupac alive after his death. One such resurfaced video has racked up more than 229,000 views on YouTube. And it shows a man with similar facial hair and bald head talking on the phone. The title claims it shows Tupac alive in 2020 at the age of 48. The comment section is full of the rapper's fans who are convinced he is still alive and that the video is evidence. One states, yo, I can't front. The guy really looks like Pac, especially when he turns and is smiling. This is possibly the clearest video evidence that I've seen that Pac is alive. Another says, Tupac Amaru Shakur lives. Come back, Pac, and show them what hip-hop rap is. And a third simply says, yes, it is Tupac. Yet, there are also those who see through the wild conspiracy with many comments calling on people to let Tupac rest in peace. One reads, just let the man rest in peace. He was taken too young. Life isn't fair, but at least he left a legacy behind. Another says, if y'all don't let this man rest, SMH. Here's the deal. The other thing that people point to is the fact that when you look at his autopsy photos, and if you've ever seen them, they're pretty gruesome. They claim that the cuts in Tupac's body don't match up with the way. There are two different sets of autopsy photos.
Okay.
And they don't match exactly.
Oh.
So they think that even that was set up. It's kind of a weird, wild conspiracy that even the autopsy photos were faked.
Now, do you believe he's dead, or do you believe in the conspiracy that he's still alive?
I'd like to believe the conspiracy, and maybe he's living somewhere quietly, and that would be a good thing.
Yeah.
But I tend to think he's dead. I really do believe he's dead. I don't think he's alive. I don't think he's any more alive than Elvis is. You know, I think it's wishful thinking. I really do. Let's go from one wild theory to another. Ready for this? Time travel proof on an ancient coffin from 3,000 years ago that Marge Simpson existed. I'm actually going to post this story too. I'm going to show you the picture here, Mel. You ready for this?
I'm like picturing her with her high blue hair. Jeez Louise, it looks like her.
It does, doesn't it? I'm going to post this one too in the description of the program so you folks can see this for yourself as I read the story. Doesn't it look like Marge Simpson on the coffin? See, right down to the dress and everything. I mean, it all looks just like her. There's an image on the lid of an ancient Egyptian sarcophagus lid dating back more than 3,000 years, and it's hilariously being compared to Marge Simpson. The photo of an ancient Egyptian sarcophagus dating back 3,000 years has that uncanny resemblance to Marge. The coffin was unearthed in an Egyptian cemetery, and it depicts a yellow-colored woman on its lid dressed in green clothing and a blue crown similar in appearance to Marge's famous tall hairstyle. According to a now-deleted Reddit post, which resurfaced this week, the tomb dates back to the New Kingdom 20th dynasty, circa 1186 to 1069 BC, and is the goddess Nut. That's one thing most guys won't be doing. I'm just saying when they see it. A history buff explained on the post, that's the goddess Nut. I've seen the other pieces belonging to this grave. I think the parents, the deceased was a 16-year-old girl, may just not have had a lot of money, so they did the best they could afford. She continued, her shroud is a lot better looking, still in the same wonky style, but so much more attention and love has been put into it. It kind of hits me in the heart every time I see it. Others, meanwhile, were quick to discuss Nut's likeness to the mom of Bart, Lisa, and Maggie, and how the ancient civilization must have predicted Marge. Yeah, I'm sure that's what they were doing. I don't think so. So the Egyptians predicted The Simpsons. Plot twist, declared one Redditor. Another joke, The Simpsons predicted it. No, wait, the Egyptians predicted The Simpsons. The only documented time in history where The Simpsons didn't do it first, quipped a third. While a fourth penned, I know The Simpsons have been on for a long time, but I didn't know it was that long. Elsewhere on the post, several Reddit users suggested The Simpsons production must have the ability to travel through time, such as their apparent ability to see into the future and delve into the past. So we'll post this one in the description of this program so you can see Marge on a sarcophagus. Kind of cool, huh?
Mm-hmm.
All right, it's time now, Mallie, for that vampire Sasquatch story. But here's the part you're not going to laugh about.
Okay.
This is the part that's going to chill you to the bone. And I'm going to warn you here, graphic content ahead, because Bigfoot does kill dogs.
Oh.
Mm-hmm. The verdict is in on vampire Sasquatch as it claimed pets that were found drained. Mm-hmm. Sasquatches generally do not like dogs and will kill them, according to a cryptozoologist. This following claims that Bigfoot murdered a pen full of pooches and drank their blood. This according to documentary maker Kelly Lockman, who revealed that he believed Bigfoot had killed a deer and a buzzard before drinking their blood and leaving their corpses in some woods in North Carolina as a warning. He shared images of the bodies and also uploaded a short documentary to the I Believe in Bigfoot YouTube channel, in which he spoke to Carolyn Allen. Carolyn said she believes a similar thing happened to her dogs. She explained how the pen they were kept in was 8 feet tall and not damaged at all after the incident, leading her to conclude something vaulted over it. The dead dogs looked similar to the deer with their heads twisted. Yeah. And she also said they had puncture wounds as if something had drank their blood. Thomas Markham, filmmaker and founder of research group The Crypto Crew, explained reports of Bigfoot killing dogs aren't out of the ordinary. He told the Daily Star Bigfoots, I hate that, by the way, it's Bigfoot, generally do not like dogs and will kill them. I also interviewed a man who witnessed a Bigfoot take his dog's bark and give away the location of a hiding Bigfoot. Oftentimes, Bigfoot will just kill the dogs and leave them, he said. On some reports, they will kill them or take them, and the dog is never found. However, Thomas said he'd never come across any witness claiming Bigfoot sucked blood out of an animal, and he also wasn't convinced by the deer and buzzard. He said, I have taken in many reports of Bigfoot killing deer, and some where a hunter had their deer taken by Bigfoot. I would find it very odd for a Bigfoot to kill a deer and just leave it. It is one of the things they are reported to eat. I don't know about the buzzard, but I have taken in a couple of reports and conducted a witness interview of someone describing Bigfoot taking turkeys off the roost. Again, it would be odd for Bigfoot to kill food sources and just leave them. In my opinion, whatever killed the buzzard and deer was not a Bigfoot. So there you go. Vampire Bigfoot.
Poor animals.
Yeah. Although, Mallie, everyone's got to eat.
Yeah, but I thought Bigfoot, like, didn't they say like there was like hostess treats and stuff like that on Finding Bigfoot, or one of those shows they went hunting and they brought like Pop-Tarts and stuff?
Oh yeah, they nail ribs to trees and stuff like that. Yeah, they're feeding Bigfoot junk food, and they got to bring out like Crestor and stuff for their cholesterol. I don't know. They do all kinds of stuff. So that
some Crustables.
Yeah, Crustables. Yeah, peanut butter and jelly sandwiches. And,
yep.
Yeah, we brought Bigfoot Cheetos, and he loved them. I don't know. They do all kinds of stuff for Bigfoot they probably shouldn't be doing. Bigfoot's probably strung out on junk food and attacking campers for their junk. It's horrible. We have corrupted Bigfoot.
Mm-hmm. Now he's got a weight issue.
That's right. Yeah. Now he's on Ozempic.
Yep.
Yeah. Poor Bigfoot.
Damn Americans.
That's right. That's why you can't get Ozempic now at the pharmacy. It's because Bigfoot's hogging all the Ozempic.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yep. Blame Bigfoot. Just saying. Finally today, Mallie, we'll end it on an up note. How does that sound?
Sounds great.
We've had our share of animal psychics here on the show. Of course, we had Ziggy Starpup, who predicted the NFL season along with his sister. We have another animal psychic out there in the world. It turns out it is Bubby the Elephant Oracle, who is predicting the Euro 2024 opener. And Bubby the Elephant Oracle is predicting that Germany is going to win the Euro 2024 opener. Of course, I think it's under duress, though. Yeah, I don't know. I'm just saying. We're going to Starkenburg, Germany, of course. See, I told you it was under duress. Move over Paul the Octopus. There's a new big hitter in the world of soccer soothsayers. And this one going for a win is it's Germany to win the European Championship. Bubby, an African elephant who lives in a reserve in Thuringia in central Germany, was tasked Thursday with predicting the victor of the Euro 2024 match between the host nation and Scotland in Munich on Friday. I smell a setup here. Just saying. Bubby had to kick a ball towards the flags of Germany and Scotland that were on either side of a makeshift goal. The ball rolled towards Germany's, of course. Bubby, who's originally from Italy, then waved the flag of her adopted home and enjoyed a bucket of barley. Setup. Just saying.
That's a cute name, though, Bubby.
Yeah, Bubby. Her keepers discovered her enthusiasm for soccer by chance when a ball rolled into her enclosure. Bubby immediately kicked back the ball. So, see? Bubby likes to play football. Paul the Octopus, also known as the Oracle of Oberhausen, gained notoriety by successfully predicting the outcome of matches at the 2010 World Cup. Paul the Octopus is also known as Calamari right now. I'm just saying. Give you one of those. And was also part of the all-you-could-eat calamari at the German Red Lobster. So there you go. Just saying. Yeah. So that'll do it for today's Supernatural News. Again, if you have a Parashare story for us, you can send it to tim@darknessradio.com, or you can leave us a voice note. Go to darknessradioshow.com, and you can leave us a 2-minute voice note there. If you need more time, just click that blue button again. Leave us an additional 2 minutes. I'll stitch them together. I'll play them right here on the show. So there you go. We'll air it next week.
Cool.
Maleficent, do you have some new stuff there on the old website?
No, not yet, but I'm going to. I've got some stories to write about after my visit to Sleepy Hollow and New York City.
Really?
So, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Right. Hey, I even visited, Ladder 8?
Yeah.
The Ghostbusters firehouse?
Yeah.
Yeah. They had the, I guess it was it the 40th anniversary or something when I was there?
Yes. Yep.
And they had, was it the Ecto one was in front of it and all that stuff. So it was kind of funny.
Nice.
It was cute.
Nice. All right. Well, we'll look forward to that. So check out paranormalgirl.com. We'll have a link in the description of this program so you can follow Mallie there. Of course, Mallie's also on TV. You'll have your links there in the description of this program as well as to where you can catch Mallie on television. So
catch me outside.
Catch me outside. How about that? She's got a multimedia star, Mallie Fox is. We can't contain her to one medium. So there you go.
Oh, and they'll be able to see us both at Michigan Paracon.
That's right, Michigan Paracon, which last week, huge announcement.
Yep.
That's right. It's the last one.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So get your tickets right now. We've got, you know what? I'll put the link up for Michigan Paracon as well.
There we go. That's so nice of you.
Yeah, we'll do that. Get your tickets right now, and come out for Michigan Paracon in August. So there you go. That'll do it for the show. Tomorrow on the big show, Nicole Strickland will be with us. We'll be talking The Afterlife Chronicles. Excellent book. So we're going to talk with Nicole about the Afterlife Chronicles and learn all there is to learn about the afterlife. It's coming up tomorrow on the big show. For Mallie Fox, I'm Tim Dennis. Thank you so much for joining us today on the big program. For Supernatural News, we'll see you tomorrow for Nicole Strickland right here on the best in paranormal podcasting. This is Darkness Radio.